Alright guys, so I'm making this video because 4 years ago I was diagnosed with cancer. I went through chemotherapy, I went through radiation, I went through a bone marrow transplant. I went through so much. I was in the hospital for 6 weeks for my bone marrow transplant. After that, I developed a chronic illness called chronic graft versus host disease. Basically, the donor stem cells that I had from the bone marrow transplant were attacking my major organs, rejecting my body, and it's something I still live with to this day. But the first 2 years were the worst. I was admitted in the hospital for 5 months at one point. And at one point, I was on such a high dose of steroid, which is a medication that can suppress your immune system and reduce inflammation throughout your body, which is something they often use in cancer treatment and treating chronic illnesses like the one I have. And because I was on such a high dose of steroids, it made me really depressed. And I was so depressed, so anxious, I tried to take my own life. And over the last 4 years, I've learned so much. I went through so much pain, so much suffering. I lost my hair, I lost my muscles, I lost my social life. I lost everything that I thought that identified me and made me who I am. But I learned so much. And one message I want to share with you guys today is that your comfort zone is killing you, man. Your comfort zone is going to kill you. Before cancer, I lived in my comfort zone. I lived there. I was so afraid. I used to be a windsurfer and a surfer, and I used to be so afraid when the wind was over 20 miles an hour and when the waves were over 3 foot. I'd be scared to go out. I'd be reluctant. Sometimes I wouldn't even do it because I was so scared of getting injured or falling. And looking back, I have so many regrets because I can't do the same things I used to do before cancer. I can still surf now, thankfully, but my body's so much more fragile. So now I actually have to be scared when the waves are over 3 foot, and I actually have to be scared for certain things in my life because I'm so fragile. But looking back, my biggest message to you is don't be afraid of things. Don't be afraid of love. Don't be afraid of getting out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid of trying new things. I didn't think I would ever surf again because after my bone marrow transplant, I was so sick. I had necrosis in my knees and my elbows, and I still have necrosis in my knees, but I had my knee replaced so I could surf again. And it was kind of a complicated story I'm sharing with you. It's a little hard to understand everything I've been through because it is very confusing. But ultimately, guys, just don't live in your comfort zone. I was pushed out of that comfort zone when I went through radiation, when I went through chemo. I was forced to go through pain and suffering, forced to do things I didn't want to do. I had no choice to either do that treatment, either do radiation, do chemo, or die, and that was it. And for me, it really taught me so much, guys. Do not let your comfort zone define your life. If you want to move to a city that you've never lived in before, you just do it. Do not spend your whole life living with regrets. Because ask yourself right now, what you're doing right now, are you gonna regret that later? If you are gonna regret that later, you should make a different decision. Go up to that girl that you like, talk to her. Ask out that girl, tell that person you love them. Do that thing that's been scaring you, guys. Just don't live in your comfort zone. I'm so happy I'm alive because if I were to have passed away when I was diagnosed with cancer, which I was so close so many times, I would have lived a life of regret. I did a lot of things I didn't regret. A lot of things I didn't regret before cancer, but there were a lot of things I did, and I realized that when I was faced with death. So I don't want you guys to have to face death to understand that life is short and you don't want to live with regrets. So remember this message, guys, and just follow your dreams. It sounds so corny, but just follow your damn dreams. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason not to. We live in a time where you can just do whatever you want with social media and the internet. You never know what can happen. Look at the Hawk Tuah girl. She's famous for no reason. So, not the point of the message, but get out of your comfort zone, guys. Do the things you love. Be around the people you love. And don't let yourself be a victim. I hope this message can inspire and help someone. I love you guys. Keep going.